Welcome to our channel Learn by Animation. If you have not subscribed our channel, then subscribe to get an update. It gives me motivation to make video like this. Let's start. The fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time. Mark Twain, one of my favorite quotes that captures the essence of Buddhism's radical approach to death and rebirth. In this video, we'll explore how embracing the Buddhist view of death can paradoxically lead to a more fulfilling life. You'll learn why understanding the cycle of death and rebirth might be the key to living without fear. The illusion of permanence. According to Buddhism, our fear of death stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of reality. We cling to the idea of permanence, desperately seeking stability in a world that's constantly in flux. This attachment to permanence is the root of our suffering, especially when it comes to facing our own mortality. At the heart of Buddhist philosophy lies the concept of impermanence, known as anicca. This principle teaches that all things are in a constant state of change, including our own lives. Nothing lasts forever, not even death itself. It's a perspective that stands in stark contrast to many Western attitudes, where we often seek to preserve life at all costs and view death as a final, permanent end. In the West, we tend to build our identities around the idea of a fixed, unchanging self. We accumulate possessions, achievements, and relationships, believing they define who we are. But Buddhism challenges this notion, suggesting that our attachment to a permanent self is the very source of our suffering. The Buddha taught that what we perceive as self is actually a collection of ever-changing physical and mental phenomena. The Yamaka Sutta, an early Buddhist text, illustrates this point beautifully. It explains that by understanding the impermanent nature of our form, feelings, perceptions, mental fabrications, and consciousness, we can liberate ourselves from the fear of death. This isn't just abstract philosophy. It's a practical approach to living and dying with equanimity. Imagine for a moment what it would be like to fully accept the transient nature of existence. How might it change your relationship with life and death? The Buddha in the Bhayabharava Sutta suggests that recognizing impermanence allows us to let go of our attachments and fears associated with mortality. It's a radical shift in perspective that can lead to a profound sense of peace. This understanding of impermanence isn't meant to be depressing or nihilistic. On the contrary, it's an invitation to live more fully in the present moment. Buddhist mindfulness practices encourage us to observe the changing nature of our thoughts and feelings, fostering a deeper awareness of the fleeting nature of existence. As we cultivate this awareness, we may find ourselves less afraid of death and more appreciative of the precious, temporary gift of life. By accepting impermanence, we can develop a more peaceful relationship with mortality. Instead of desperately clinging to life or fearing death, we can learn to embrace the natural flow of existence. This shift in perspective doesn't eliminate grief or sadness, but it can help us face these emotions with greater acceptance and resilience. But if there's no permanent self, what exactly gets reborn? This question leads us to one of Buddhism's most fascinating and counterintuitive ideas about the nature of consciousness and rebirth, the stream of consciousness. If there's no permanent self to be reborn, what exactly continues after death? Buddhism proposes an answer that's both profound and perplexing. It suggests that while nothing permanent passes from one life to the next, something does carry on. And understanding this process could revolutionize how we view our own existence. Buddhism presents a radical concept. There is no unchanging soul, yet something persists beyond death. This idea challenges our conventional understanding of identity and continuity. To grasp this paradox, we need to explore the Buddhist view of consciousness as a constantly changing stream. Imagine consciousness as a river, flowing ceaselessly from moment to moment. Each instant is connected to the next, yet no single drop of water remains the same. This metaphor illustrates the Buddhist concept of consciousness as a causal series of mental events rather than a fixed entity. But how can rebirth occur without a permanent self or soul to transmigrate? Early Buddhist texts like the Mahakama Vibhanga Sutta provide insight into this question. They describe how the actions of sentient beings lead to new existences after death, emphasizing the causal relationship between actions, karma, and rebirth. This process doesn't require a permanent self. Instead, it relies on the continuity of consciousness as a carrier of karmic imprints. Different Buddhist schools have debated the exact nature of what is reborn. Some traditions assert that Vijnana consciousness exists as a continuum that undergoes rebirth. Others, like the Theravada school, argue that nothing transmigrates. Rather, there's a causal link akin to a seal, leaving an impression on wax. The Theravada concept of a birth-linking consciousness, Padasandhi Chit, describes the first moment of consciousness in a new life, conditioned by the previous life, but not implying a permanent self traveling between lives. To further illustrate this concept, Buddhist teachings often use the analogy of fire. Just as a flame can ignite another flame without any tangible substance passing between them, consciousness can transition from one life to another. The early texts indicate that while consciousness cannot exist without a physical body, it can jump from one body to another. Much like a spark leaping between flames, this understanding of consciousness as a dynamic, ever-changing process rather than a fixed entity opens up intriguing possibilities. It suggests that our current actions and experiences shape not only our present consciousness, but also influence its future manifestations. This perspective aligns with the Buddhist view of karma and its effects across lifetimes. As we delve deeper into this concept, we begin to see how consciousness might act as a carrier of karmic imprints between lives. But this raises another compelling question. How does this process of rebirth actually unfold? To answer this, we need to explore the intricate workings of karma and the cycle of existence known as samsara, the wheel of becoming. What if your next life depended on the actions you take today? According to Buddhist teachings, that's exactly how the universe operates. The wheel of becoming, or samsara, spins endlessly, propelled by the karma we generate. But how does this cosmic mechanism work? And more importantly, is there a way to step off this relentless carousel of rebirth? In Buddhism, death is not the final curtain, but rather a transition point in an ongoing cycle of existence. This cycle, known as samsara, encompasses distinct realms of rebirth, each offering unique experiences and challenges from the celestial heights of the God realm to the tortuous depths of hell. These realms represent the vast spectrum of possible existences. The realm of gods, while seemingly idyllic, is not without its pitfalls. These beings enjoy long lifespans and immense pleasure, but even they are not immune to the impermanence that governs all of existence. Once their good karma is exhausted, they too must face rebirth in lower realms. Interestingly, the highest gods are said to reside atop Mount Meru, where a single day stretches for human years. Humans occupy a unique position in this cosmic hierarchy. Our realm is considered ideal for practicing the Buddhist path, as we experience enough suffering to motivate us towards liberation, but not so much that we fall into despair. The Buddha identified forms of suffering that humans endure, including the universal experiences of birth, aging, sickness, and death. But what determines which realm we'll inhabit in our next life? This is where karma comes into play. Our actions in this life, driven by our intentions and motivations, create ripples that extend far beyond our current existence. Good actions, kusala karma, pave the way for rebirth in more favorable realms, while harmful actions, akusala karma, can lead to less fortunate circumstances. The intricacies of this process are explained through the concept of the links of dependent origination. This teaching illustrates how ignorance leads to actions that create karma, which in turn influences rebirth. It's a complex cycle that continues until it attains enlightenment and breaks free from samsara altogether. Understanding the wheel of becoming isn't just an intellectual exercise. It has profound implications for how we live our lives. By recognizing that our current actions shape our future existences, we're motivated to live more ethically and mindfully. Every choice we make, every intention we harbor, becomes a seed planted for our future selves. But as we contemplate this endless cycle of death and rebirth, a new question arises. Is this just another form of eternal life? Or is there a way to transcend the wheel of becoming entirely? To answer this, we must explore the ultimate goal of Buddhist practice, the attainment of nirvana and the cessation of rebirth itself. Liberation from the cycle. Imagine a flame that has burned for eternity, flickering through countless lives. Now picture that flame being extinguished, not in darkness, but in a state beyond our comprehension. This is the Buddhist concept of nirvana. But how can one achieve liberation from a cycle that has no beginning? While many spiritual traditions promise eternal life, Buddhism offers something radically different, a way out of the cycle of rebirth altogether. Nirvana, often misunderstood in popular culture, isn't just a state of bliss or paradise, it's the ultimate freedom. The cessation of rebirth itself. This state is characterized by the extinguishing of craving, ignorance, and suffering, transcending the very fabric of ordinary existence. But how does one escape a cycle that seems endless? The path to enlightenment in Buddhism is outlined in the Noble Eightfold Path, a comprehensive guide to living that encompasses right understanding, intent, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration. Each element of this path is crucial for overcoming the ignorance that keeps us bound to the wheel of samsara. At the heart of this journey lies the Four Noble Truths, the foundational teachings of Buddhism. These truths acknowledge the existence of suffering, identify its cause as craving, assert that cessation is possible through nirvana, and provide the Eightfold Path as the means to achieve it. It's a roadmap for transformation that begins with recognizing the nature of our existence and ends with complete liberation. Different Buddhist schools interpret nirvana in various ways. Theravada Buddhism, for instance, emphasizes personal liberation, while Mahayana Buddhism often views it as a state that can be attained for the benefit of all sentient beings. This diversity of interpretation highlights the profound nature of nirvana, a concept so transcendent that it defies easy categorization. The possibility of liberation gives new meaning to the cycle of rebirth. Instead of viewing samsara as an endless, purposeless loop, it becomes a journey of growth and transformation. Each life offers opportunities to cultivate wisdom and compassion, moving us closer to the ultimate goal of enlightenment. This perspective can profoundly change our approach to living, infusing our actions with deeper purpose and ethical consideration. Interestingly, the teachings on nirvana have sparked scholarly debates, particularly regarding the relationship between the concepts of not-self, anatta, and rebirth. How can there be rebirth if there's no permanent self? These philosophical questions invite us to delve deeper into the nature of existence and consciousness. As we contemplate these ancient teachings, a question naturally arises. How can this wisdom, developed over millennia in a vastly different cultural context, apply to our modern lives? The answer may surprise you, offering insights that are as relevant today as they were years ago. As we've explored, Buddhism offers a transformative perspective on death, reframing it not as a final end, but as a transition in the ongoing journey of consciousness. This view invites us to live with greater mindfulness and ethical consideration, knowing that our actions shape not only this life, but future existences as well. Consider how this understanding might change your approach to living and dying. Research suggests that contemplating mortality can lead to significant positive changes, encouraging us to prioritize meaningful relationships and ethical living. By engaging with Buddhist practices like meditation and studying key texts, we can deepen our understanding of existence and the cycle of rebirth. As you reflect on these ideas, remember the words of the Buddha, Life is uncertain. Death is certain. This simple truth reminds us to live fully in the present moment, embracing the impermanence that defines our existence. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.